think you were very close with the late John Lewis, with whom you served in Congress. And I think he really epitomized a lot of the things you're talking about. There's a bill before Congress now,
Yes.
in his name. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about his influence on your understanding of public service.
Of the thousands of people that I served with at the state and federal level, I respect John Lewis more than any other. You know, in his early 20s, he was leading the civil rights movement along with Dr. King and four others of the big six of the civil rights movement. And John was nearly killed in Selma for leading the March for Fundamental Voting Rights Act in 1965. He's in prison more than 40 times. But in all the years we worked so closely together, I never felt 1 ounce of hatred or resentment from John. He once hugged a man who came into the office with his 11-year-old grandson under his arm and said, "I want to ask for your forgiveness, Congressman Lewis. I nearly beat you to death in Selma." And John, instead of being angry, he grabbed the grandfather, hugged him, and said, "You're my brother, and I love you." And I'm still moved when I think about the lesson that taught that 11-year-old grandchild. And John was passionate about civil rights and about the values of equality for all, but he was never disrespectful to others and never let hatred or bitterness seep into his body, mind, or soul. And if we could use John Lewis as a role model of Christian love and action, we'd be a better country. And he did say one of the untold secrets of the civil rights movement was that its ultimate success was it was built around a model of Christian love. They did not return hate with hate. They returned hate with love. And by doing that, they won over Americans to the cause of civil rights in the 50s and 60s.
You know, I think when I think about John Lewis, Chet, the other thing that comes to mind is that John Lewis didn't get to be John Lewis later in life by planning when he was in his 20s to be that. You know, he could not have crossed the bridge there in Selma and put himself in position to be beaten and then put in prison numerous times. And in those moments, thought to himself, that's okay. This is all part of a great big strategy that's going to get me in Congress someday and have me honored by others. I mean, I think that's part of the struggle now that people, young people need to pay attention to the fact that you can only do what's right in front of you. And you have to sort of leave the rest of history and your legacy to God and whatever opportunity may come. But it's about character in the moment, isn't it?